Harmy, I know you quite well, and I'm just guessing, because we haven't spoken about it. The news was just released a short time ago. But I'm thinking that with England not having passed 300 and then dropping their two greatest or most successful ever bowlers, you'll probably not be best impressed.
No, I'm actually gobsmacked about what's happened. I was of the opinion before the Ashes that England go to Australia, play some good cricket, everything go nicely. If they win, great. If they don't win, at least be in a contest and everything going, England's cricket going forward. Then I'd look at maybe having a look at some Matt Fisher, Saqib Mahmood, Matt Parkinson, all these guys who are on the just underneath in the West Indies. But when you go over and get beat the way you got beat, with all the sackings that's gone on in the last week or so, one win in 14 test matches, Broad Anderson being arguably just behind Wood, Robinson in the shining light department from an Ashes debacle, you have to win test matches. We have to go and win. We've been there once since 1967-68 and won. That was the first tour that we didn't have a Broad or an Anderson on it. So I think it's a mistake. I really do. I thought, you know what, it might not be a bad thing. I can understand what they're possibly trying to do, but the quotes that's come out from Sir Andrew Strauss is leaving the door open but closing it at the same time. Basically saying the new selection panel, the new coach, the new director of cricket will make the decision on Broad and Anderson. Well, actually, they've just done it, in my opinion. I don't think they can come back. It's not right. They should be coming back. What a bit of pressure they've got on. England go into West Indies and lose 3-0. The clamour for Broad and Anderson to come back will be there. I think it's weird. I don't think it's right. I think Broad and Anderson would have been better in the group. I'm looking at someone like Craig Overton, who didn't even get close to a game in Australia. You put Broad in that spot. You look at Chris Woakes, who looked miles away when it come to being a threat in Australia. And you put Anderson in that spot, even though Woakes is a batsman, but his primary job is a bowler. You look at Mahmood and Fisher going away with Broad and Anderson and what they can learn. With Ollie Robinson still learning as well, I think that would have been a better team and a balanced attack. So I look at this and I just think, is it strong management? Quite possibly. But I also look at it and think, if this is the end for Broad and Anderson, it's a disgrace, the way they've been treated.
We've got so much to get through, and we're going to come back to Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad. Just for those who may not be aware of the news, 8 members of the Ashes squad have been dispensed with for the 3 matches. Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad, Don Best, Sam Billings, Rory Burns, Jos Buttler, Haseeb Hameed and David Malan. I'm really surprised by David Malan. I thought that he was really something to work with. So Saqib Mahmood comes in, Ben Foakes, Chris Woakes stays in, Ollie Robinson, I guess, I don't know, does he become the leader of the attack? There's so much to talk about. Alex Lees as well. I'm rushing you because there is so much to talk about. Alex Lees will presumably open the batting. Now, he's played 127 first-class games, scored over 7,000 runs, averages under 35, but does have 1700s. That smacks to me of an inspired selection because, you look at a 28-year-old's career numbers and you won't get necessarily an accurate picture of his graph of improvement. So, I mean, you and I both punted him during the summer, didn't we? And you reckoned that he deserves his shot.
Yeah, he does. I think he does deserve his shot. I was going back to somebody a little bit older. The likes of Live's name was mentioned, Stokman's name was mentioned, Robson's name was mentioned. But I think Alex Lees, who hasn't had a go, I think he deserves a go. And I think his numbers of just under 35 is he had a good time at Yorkshire in the start of his career. He got the captaincy, which I don't think suited him and didn't go right for him. There was a lot of stuff went on at Yorkshire at the time, and he decided to leave, to rebuild his career. And he went to Durham, and he slowly but surely built them numbers back up, scores hundreds, and did very, very well with the Lions out in Australia, leading them against the England side. So I think he's been on the England radar for a while, and I'm pleased for him. Durham player, another feather in the Durham cap. The ones that have been omitted, we all wanted Jos Buttler to be a success story. We all wanted Jos Buttler to make it at Test match level, but for some reason it just hasn't happened for him. And I struggle to put my finger on why, because he's so talented, but sometimes it doesn't. I look at someone like Graham Hick or Mark Rampecash. It just didn't happen for them. I don't think it was for the want of trying. I don't think it was for the want of effort or ability. It just didn't happen for Jos because of how good he is in the white ball game. I think his numbers of hundreds compared to Test matches played for a player of that caliber. I think he had enough and a good run at it. So I don't think he can complain that he's not in it. The David Milan one, I can see why they've left him out. And on a personal level, I think it's the right thing. I spoke to him yesterday on Monday morning. We had something in common. We both had children born when we weren't there during an Ashes trip. And I think from the personal point of view, from what David was telling me, and I'm not going to say it, but I think I would have left him out as well and told him to spend some time with his family, because the human element, I think, deserves a little bit of compassion. And I think I'd have made that decision even if David Milan had an unbelievable tour to Australia, because I think it's the right thing to do. And if he comes back in the summer, because he's getting runs for Yorkshire, then brilliant. You know, he is a class player. So I'm happy on that side that them decisions have been made. I just keep coming back to the main topic. And the main topic, we can't get away from the fact that if this is the end for the two greatest cricketers that we've ever produced, I just don't think it's right for them to go out this way. They should be walking off arm in arm, fanfare at one of the English Test grounds with an unbelievable week of celebration, because what them two have give this country when it comes to cricket in terms, I think is above and way beyond. I don't think they should be part of the sacking blame when we struggled to get 200 and 250 runs. And we got beat because we didn't score any runs, not because anything that Broad or Anderson were part of.
Okay, I wanted to ask you about the size of their personalities and characters and whether that may have played a role, the fact they've been in the England setup for so long. And neither of them are disruptive. Stuart Broad can be outspoken, and he was the one who said many home truths during the Ashes series. He was the one that said, it doesn't matter how many wickets you're taking, you're not going to win Test matches if you're being bowled out for 140. So, you know, is it about a personality thing? Is it? I mean, there's no doubt about their talent. I mean, Jimmy Anderson has been getting better and better. The numbers and the statistics show that over recent years. So is it just we need this, whatever this reset is, and therefore we need new voices and fresh opinions and maybe not so hurtful truths in the change room? And that leads me on to Matt Fisher, who's the poor man. He's just turned 24, and you know, Anderson and Broad get dropped, and everyone's going, "Who's Matt Fisher? He's taking their place."
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. I'm over the moon for Matt Fisher. He's somebody who's had a lot of trouble with injuries, but he had a good Lions trip. I watched him bowl outside for the first time this morning, and he bowled beautifully. 5 overs, obviously in the tent. His marquee that Yorkshire have got up, and he looks in very, very good order. It's a shame he's not going to get to rub shoulders with Broad or Anderson. It's a shame that his selection, along with Saki Mahmood for the first time, Matt Parkinson for the first time, I'm trying to think of anybody else for the first time, getting overshadowed because of obviously, you know, getting picked for England is a special honour. But when I look at it again, I look at the squad and you see the characters that potentially are going to have to stand up. Joe Root's going to have to bat 3, in my opinion. Me, Mark Butcher, had an argument on air during the Indian series a couple of years ago about number 3, and I said he has to bat 3 for the good of the team. And I think Joe's going to have to go and do that now. And the other one, the point that you made, you know, reset and look to go again. Well, I've got a funny feeling in Antigua, first Test match, we are going to pick the same Gabba bowling attack. We are going to pick the same attack that played in the Gabba. We are not going to learn from our mistakes. On a slow, docile, flat pitch, we are going to pick 2 80-mile-an-hour bowlers, a slow left-arm spinner who's not the biggest of turners, and we're going to break Mark Wood. because he's going to have to bowl some overs. Stokes will not be able to bowl. So we're not going to really learn from our mistakes because Wokes will bat number 8. Wood has to play because of his pace. Robinson was our best bowler. From a stats point of view, was one of our best bowlers in Australia, and Leach is our spinner. That's our bowling attack from the Gabba, and that's going to be our bowling attack in Antigua. So we talk about reset. You can talk about reset as much as you want. We're going to make the same mistake again. This time, hopefully our batting unit will get more than 200 to give our bowlers a chance.